And so this other person wrote in about another pointer that they'd been, you know, struggling with, which is this notion that when a person becomes realized, they see that, all the world's a dream. And that is a perspective that people pop into, and it can be, really surprising to have this profound insight. It goes beyond insight because it's this profound access to a perspective that, wow, it's all a dream. It's all creation of what we might call big mind. It's this larger play of consciousness that's creating and creating and creating, and its creations are arising and expressing and receding and dissolving, and it's all this play of consciousness. And that's quite a bit different than, feeling like, ouch, this hurts, this feels really real. And, don't talk to me about it being consciousness. Like, I'm in pain, get me out of pain, for example, or, I love this. And, don't tell me it's a dream. Like, gosh, don't take that away. It's kind of a harsh pointer to just reduce everything to a dream. Things that are very precious or very, very much in need of healing or attention, And have you ever had that happen to you where you give a real concern about, let's say, your physical health or, a pain or something, and someone says, oh, it's all in your head, or, you're making that up, or you're just like, what? Like, jump inside my body. Like, it certainly feels real to me. And it's just like an insult for them to say it's all in your mind. And it can be annoying if a person, pulls that, well, it's all a dream, don't worry about it. It's like, I'm worried about it. And it can feel like an insult. So I can understand why it's a problematic catch-all phrase, like it's all a dream. And I think coming back to this notion of our nature as the eternal, we could say maybe coming back to this pointer that what we essentially are expresses as a non-state state would be one that we could bring to bear in how we might more correctly relate to this phrase, it's all a dream. So many of you know that one of my favorite exercises is the two hands, and it comes in handy all the time. Ha ha ha. Very punny, huh? To say handy. But you can have this concept like, oh wow, it's also real. Like it's real. Like I am my thoughts, I am my feelings, I am my sensations, and my wants and my desires, and my I know what I don't want and I don't desire, and I have this history, and it's all so real. It's, it becomes our whole identity, and we kind of forget that we're this expression of life that's on display in this grand body of life all around us. And there's this sense of separation and identification, and it all feels so real sometimes, and the weight of us can sometimes weigh us down, or the pull of it to, to freedom and to joy can be so strong, and it can feel so real. And we hold that concept. You can hold it in this exercise in one of your palms, just right there before you. And then in the other hand, you can also hold, even if you haven't quite experienced it, you can kind of imagine, like, oh, what if this is all a dream and it's not even real? It's as though I'm, asleep and I'm just dreaming this whole life of mine. wow, like it's all a dream. And I'm going to wake up from it, or I have waken up from it. And there's this sense that, okay, it's all so real, or wow, it's all a dream. I'm not who I thought I was. That was all like this story that was created out of these thoughts and experiences that just appeared and arose and constellated into this sense of separate self. So it's also real and it's all a dream are two different vantage points. Now, hey, it's not surprising that in some spiritual circles they'll talk about this perspective of it's all a dream, because sometimes it's helpful to dislodge someone from this reality. They start talking about this reality, or we could just say this mode of being, this perception, as if to sort of try to wake this one up and loosen it. And so it's as though, okay, let's bring consciousness over here to sort of release it from over here. So sometimes the opposite is really stressed. But in the two hands exercise, what I love is just when you rest back into the seeing that's observing both, it's all so real and it's all a dream. You really get a sense that what you essentially are, when the mind is still and it's quiet, and you look at these two and you can kind of get a sense, I don't have to pick sides. I don't have to buy into my identity of this kind of separate ego consciousness and feel like everything that I think and feel is so real, But neither do I have to buy into this sense of like, it's all a dream, it doesn't matter. Because often we see in our direct experience, things matter and things are precious. And when we're inhabiting and embodied in our incarnation, not just sort of floating out in the transcendent and in a very dreamy state, we're connected. We're connected not only in that vertical midline in our body, we're connected in our centers. We're connected in our hearts. We're connected in our guts and in our bones. And there's a way that we can really savor, like, wow, this is really dear, this is really precious, or this is really valuable. And why would I want to diminish that with this sense of boxing it into this definition of nothingness, or the state that would perceive it as empty or devoid of that preciousness. So often that sense that it's all a dream and it's also real is a sort of freedom from the investment of mind. But it's more of a freedom from. And as Adya would say, we sense in the heart center a freedom to, and a freedom to touch into life and engage and to feel the richness and the texture and the beauty and the preciousness of it all, And so to remain in that state that's all a dream is to kind of more to remain in a transcendent state that is not yet embodied or married to other centers. The freedom from can come to marry and meet up with that freedom too. The freedom to be and engage in life and to know it in more intimate, textured, connective ways.